The most dangerous spies in history weren't the ones who carried guns. They were the ones who learned faster than you. Not because they were born gifted, but because they used predatory learning strategies. Methods engineered inside Cold War intelligence agencies to compress knowledge, detect patterns, and weaponize information. And today, you're going to learn how to use them. In 1961, a KGB operative infiltrated Oxford University with nothing but a borrowed library card and a ruthless system for absorbing information. Within months, he spoke like a local. He debated philosophy like a scholar. He adapted to new dialects, new subjects, new identities, at will. He didn't do this through natural genius. He did it using forbidden cognitive techniques designed to turn the brain into an acquisition machine. You're about to learn those techniques, not to become a spy, but to learn any skill, faster than 99% of people ever will. And trust me, once you understand these methods, you will never return to normal studying again. Most education systems train you to consume information. Predatory learning trains you to capture it. Think of the difference like this. A consumer waits for information to be delivered. A predator scans for weaknesses, targets gaps, and strikes exactly where the value is. Predators don't memorize more. They memorize better. They don't study longer. They study sharper. And they don't drown in unnecessary details because their first rule is simple. Learning is a hunt. And not everything is worth hunting. One of the first training exercises Cold War agents learned was the 3-minute observation drill. A trainee would enter a crowded cafe, sit down, look around only once, then leave. Outside, they had to reconstruct everything they saw: people, objects, conversations, exits, clothing colors, even changes in lighting. This wasn't about memorization. It was about forcing the brain into a hyper-attentive state on command. Here's how you apply this in daily learning. Before studying anything, spend 90 seconds writing down everything you already know about the subject. Not 5 minutes, not 10, just 90 seconds. Why? Because your brain switches frames. You go from passive absorption to active observation. Your gaps become visible. Your targets become clear. And suddenly you're not just studying, you're hunting missing information with precision. This alone can transform your learning speed. But it's just the beginning. Intelligence agencies rely on a brutal method of information triage. It's called the live, die, ignore filter. Whenever spies encountered new material, documents, conversations, broadcasts, they instantly categorized it. Live, core patterns worth internalizing. Die, interesting but ultimately disposable details. Ignore, noise disguised as value. Students do the opposite. They treat every piece of information as equal, and they drown. Predatory learners don't drown. They isolate targets. Try it during your next study session. Step 1. Observe. Scan your material once, no highlighting, no notes. Step 2. Orient. Mark only the pieces that directly support the core concept. These are live. Step 3. Decide. Cross out the decorative or low-impact content. This is die. Step 4. Ignore. Throw away tangents, trivia, and filler. This is ignore. Suddenly the subject becomes 70% lighter, 50% faster to learn, and 10 times clearer. This is the first secret of accelerated learning. You don't learn more, you learn less, but deeper. Let's travel to East Germany during the Cold War. A Stasi case officer once memorized over 200 code names using a technique so unusual that Western agencies initially thought it was a myth. He attached every code name to a specific crack in his ceiling. Each glance upward, whether brushing his teeth or preparing a report, automatically rehearsed every association. He wasn't practicing. He was embedding. Here's how you adapt this to any skill. Every time you encounter a concept, you must remember, attach it to a physical sensation or object. The coldness of a window, the rough texture of your desk, the weight of your phone, the edge of a notebook. Why does this work? Because your brain evolved to remember survival-relevant sensory information, not abstract text. Attach learning to the body, and it sticks. This alone can double long-term retention with almost no extra effort. Here's a technique few people can use honestly. It's called the mirror rule. Spies need to reflect their environment, mannerisms, beliefs, speech patterns, without absorbing them emotionally. If they become too attached, their cover breaks down. This applies to learning, too. When studying a language, you become the grammar, but not the cultural assumptions behind it. When studying philosophy, you dissect the argument without needing it to be true. Detachment is your scalpel. Most people collapse their identity into what they study, which slows their thinking and biases their judgments. Predatory learners stay separate. They absorb knowledge without becoming it. This is one of the most overlooked accelerators of expertise. Field agents avoid predictable routines. You should too. Every 25 minutes, change your physical position. Sit to stand. Stand to walk. Desk to couch. Room to another room. These micro-interruptions reset your cognitive patterns and prevent your brain from sliding into autopilot mode. Autopilot is the enemy of deep learning. Routines make you comfortable, but predators learn in environments of controlled disruption. Change your position. Change your mind. There's a reason fighter pilots and intelligence operatives use the OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, act. It's fast, it's simple, and it's devastatingly effective. Here's the learning version. Observe. Scan the entire knowledge landscape without judgment. Orient. Identify the 20% that controls the other 80%. Decide. Select what you will internalize today, not someday. Act. Practice deliberately, not randomly. Most learners skip straight to act. That's why they fail. Predatory learning is won in the orientation phase, the moment you decide what matters and what does not. Watch any expert closely. They don't know more than others. They simply see fewer things, but see them far deeper. Experts aren't storing more information. They're filtering more aggressively. When you learn predatory style, you eliminate 90% of nice-to-know information. You burn it, like a spy destroying sensitive documents to protect mental bandwidth. Your brain becomes a sniper rifle, not a shotgun. Cryptanalysts don't look for meanings. They look for frequencies. Which letters appear most? Which symbols repeat? Where are the anomalies? Apply this to any skill. Learning French? Start with the verbs that appear most often in conversation, not the complicated ones textbooks push first. Learning programming? Study the functions used constantly, not the exotic ones used once a year. Learning business? Analyze the moves repeated across multiple successful companies, not random one-off strategies. Frequency is the skeleton key to every skill. Master the most frequent patterns, and the entire domain begins unlocking itself. Most people confuse volume with velocity. They brag about the number of pages they've read, the hours they've logged, the podcasts they've played at double speed. Predatory learning ignores all of this. Its only metric is assimilation. How much of the skill you can use in real time. People who consume a lot aren't dangerous. People who absorb a lot are. And absorption is built on one thing: excluding everything that slows you down. Let's compress everything you've learned. Predatory learning reframes knowledge as contested territory. You don't wander. You hunt. Cold War methods emphasize pattern recognition over memorization. You train your eyes before training your mind. Use the live, die, ignore filter. Only a fraction of information deserves your attention. Anchor important ideas to sensory cues. Memory lives in the body, not the abstract. Maintain emotional detachment, the mirror rule. Absorb knowledge, but don't become entangled in it. Break physical patterns every 25 minutes. Movement sharpens cognition. Use the OODA loop for everything. Observe, orient, decide, act. Track frequencies, not trivia. What repeats is what matters. If you adopt even one of these methods, your learning speed will increase. Adopt 3, and you'll be unrecognizable in 6 months. Adopt all of them, and you become the kind of person intelligence agencies would have recruited. Not because you're dangerous, but because your mind becomes a weapon. If you found these spy-inspired learning techniques valuable, consider subscribing. There's a lot more to uncover. Thanks for watching.